Okay, guys. Now I'm going to talk about this video I'm watching. So far, so good. It's his, this is the video that I was watching on YouTube by Black Patriarch, published in February 20th, 2016, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is Prince versus Michael Jackson, part 1. It says, I made a video a while ago titled The History of Colorism in the Black Music Videos. Okay. And during the process of making this video, I collected tons of footage and music videos from the back in the days. I'm just reading you the thing that they have here, just to give you a little, especially footage of the two biggest black artists of the 1980s, Prince and Michael Jackson. Okay. And I figured out that I had enough material to make an entire video based on one of the biggest rivals of black music. So you're about to see the story, you're about to see the real story of Michael Jackson versus Prince. Okay, so that's what they said in the beginning of the video. Okay, so Prince versus Michael Jackson. Okay. And then it says, Prince and Michael Jackson have always been regarded as the two biggest influential artists of the 1980s, and also two most talented ones. And both were exploited at around the same time. So they're basically saying, like, you know. Okay, so here we go. Born in 1958, Michael Joseph Jackson, was the 8th child of the Jackson family and would become the lead singer of the Jackson 5. So now they're going to talk about, just so you know, they're going to start talking about how that, when the whole Jackson 5 thing got started, and how Michael became separated from, started going on his own and all that stuff with his artist career. And like how he started with, with the Jackson 5, and then they're going to go into when Michael Jackson started getting old enough, and then I guess getting separated from the group, and how they had the different variety shows where they had the Jackson 5 show, a variety show, I believe it was called, and then they supposedly had Michael Jackson with his sisters, and then he did the group called the Silvers, I'm sorry. And that was with Michael Jackson and his sisters. And then they're going to talk with they're interviewing his brothers and some of his family members, and I think Bobby, I forget the guy's last name, one of the managers for the Jackson 5, they're going to interview. And then we'll get back into it.
Michael Joseph Jackson.
So it's going to go into this whole, like, biographical on his, on Michael Jackson's family and all that. And here's Tito Jackson talking about, apparently he didn't know some stuff got on footage, film, because he said he didn't know it was on film, apparently. Bobby Taylor, he was in a band, and he got them on Motown or something like that. And that's a little video clip of Michael Jackson singing.
He was just a very professional young child.
Okay, I'm gonna fast go through this.
Who was a kid who grew up seeing Jackie Wilson? He'd been to the Apollo when it was still really happening as a little boy.
And then they have this.
Knew the Chitlin Circuit. He was really someone who was able to access.
Just fast forwarding some of this. Okay, and this is
10 years or so, more.
When he started getting older, and then he was gonna start transitioning out of the
he was one of this
Jackson 5. Oh, oop. Skipped a little, hold on. Just skipped a little bit. I'm just gonna listen to this gentleman's commentary, and then they're gonna put words up, and then I will read you. Okay. But by the mid-1970s, despite Michael and Jermaine's solo successes, this is when Michael and Jermaine Jackson were trying to go solo, separated from the Jackson 5. Solo successes, the Jackson 5 own records became plummeting on the charts. So the Jackson 5 records apparently were going down, and they were probably selling more on their own. Now, I personally not heard anything that Jermaine Jackson has put out, but obviously I've heard Michael Jackson stuff. Of course, the Beat It album. But then okay, so partially due to the fact that the corporation which had produced most of their hit singles split up in 1973. Okay? So this is Michael Jackson now. Okay, but also because Michael Jackson, who was the frontman of the group, was growing up and his voice was changing, as well as his physical appearance. Okay, so he was no longer a little innocent boy anymore, and as a result, the Jackson 5 started to lose popularity. Okay, so apparently when he started going through all his changes and he wanted to separate, whatnot, that's when the popularity of the Jackson 5 started going down. I might have to do part 2 of this to get into Prince. And I strongly believe that this difficult period of time left a huge impact on self-esteem for Michael Jackson and for the rest of his life. I think this is when they're saying when some like his self-esteem issues, and then the all that started changing him and his personality and whatnot. But I think after, I'm trying to remember when I think it was the Pepsi commercial. Might have, but they say that the Pepsi commercial is what really pushed Michael Jackson to some of his other issues that he had. Because I believe after this we'll start getting into. Okay. So, by 1975, most of the Jacksons opted out of recording any more music for Motown. The steering, creative control, and more loyalties. Desiring and creative and control and more loyalties. So, apparently in 1975, they this is when they totally broke up, and I guess they all went their separate ways, obviously. This is good because I'm doing this video because a lot of people, don't know this. So Motown allowed the group to record for Epic. That's another recording name. As long as they changed their name and the brothers renamed themselves the Jacksons. So this is when they transitioned from Jackson 5 to just the Jacksons. Because they were recording for Epic Studios. Okay, so right now the Jacksons enjoy themselves. This is 1976, and this is when they were just the Jacksons. Okay. Oh, that's their song, Enjoy Themselves. Okay. Went forward.
Friends, the Silvers.
Okay. But around the 1970s, it was another black family. It was another black family musical group that was dominated the charts. So when the Jacksons dominated the charts at that time. Okay, so they looked just like the Jackson family. Oh, okay, so this is where the Sullivans come in. I apologize. I thought so. It was the Sullivans or the Silvers. I'm sorry. I keep saying Sullivans. It's the Silvers and the Jacksons were the two black families that were musical talents and did variety shows at the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, our friends, the Silvers.
The Silvers, and they were on the Donnie and Marie show. And they sang Boogie Fever, and it came out in 1975. And I liked that song, and I never knew the name of the group. And I thought what they were saying was they changed their name, but it's apparently a different band. So, just want to correct myself on that. Hotline, 1976. Okay, so, Okay, so ironically, the Silvers were produced by the same people who produced the Jackson 5. Very interesting. In the meantime, the Jackson family had their own variety show on CBS featuring the Jackson sisters. This is what I was saying when they went and did a variety show with the sisters. And Michael used to hate that TV series. They did it, but they didn't like it. But so that's very interesting to news. Apparently, did not like. So here's the Jacksons in 1977 with on the CBS show. Clap of that. Okay, and trying to move really quick here. But around that time, a young talented kid, also born in 1958, was making a lot of noise in Minneapolis. And now we're getting into Prince. So, I'm going to bring a part 2 of Prince.